Journey to the West, an audio drama series. Chapter 34. Part 2. We speak now of how Xingzhe left the cave in a flash. The old monsters were so frightened their souls left their bodies, as the imps all bit on their nails and shook their heads. The elder monster said, "Brother, why not give the Tang monk, Sha monk, Ba Jie, the white horse, and the luggage back to Sun Xingzhe? Let's shut the gate of hassles once and for all." The younger monster retorted, "Big brother, what are you talking about? I put in who knows how much effort into this plan in order to capture all these monks. If I am fearful of Sun Xingzhe's cunning ways like you are now, and give everything back, I'll be known as one who feared the blades. How is that the act of an upright man? Please sit down and stop worrying, won't you? I heard you say that Sun Xingzhe has immense powers. Although I have met him once, I never fought him. Bring my armor and wait till I fight him for 3 rounds. If he cannot beat me in 3 rounds, the Tang monk will still be our food. If I cannot beat him in 3 rounds, it won't be too late to give the Tang monk back to him." The elder master said, "You are right, wise younger brother." He then instructed, "Bring the armor." The imps then presented the armor. The younger master put on the outfit and held his treasure sword before heading out the door, yelling, "Sun Xingzhe, where have you gone?" The great sage was already in the clouds by then. As he heard his name called, he quickly turned around. It was the younger monster, and look at how he was dressed. The phoenix helmet on his head was whiter than snow. The battle armor he wore shone glints of steel. The belt on his waist was made from the tendon of a dragon. His pink boots were decorated with folds the shape of plum flowers. His face was like the living true lord of Guanjiangkou, his features no different from the giant divinity. Wielding the 7-star sword in his hand, his wrath shot through the clouds with incredible might. The younger monster shouted in a loud voice, "Sun Xingzhe, give me back my treasures and my mother. I will spare the Tang monk and let you leave for the scriptures." The great sage couldn't help but shout back, "You insolent monster made a mistake with your grandfather, Sun. Quickly retire my master, younger brothers, the white horse, and luggage as soon as you can. Give us some travel money as well so we can make our way westward. Should have a nose slip from the crevice of your teeth, you might as well start making your own rope to hang yourself with and spare your maternal grandfather from having to kill you himself." The younger monster heard that and swiftly hopped on a cloud. Flying in the air, he swung his treasure sword forward. Wielding his iron rod, Xingzhe took him on. The two fought in mid-air, and what a fine battle it was. An even match, 'tis the throw of a deserving opponent. Like tigers and dragons, their claws glistened where the action was. Back and forth, neither dared take a break. Live or die as their weapons drew ever so close to the vital spot. So mighty, sending chills to heaven, such wrath, lethal like thunder. The pair fought for up to 30 rounds without declaring a victor. Xingzhe was secretly happy about it and thought to himself, "This lousy monster indeed has the strength to hold off Elder Sun's iron rod. I already possess 3 of his treasures. Continuing this bitter fight with him might really be a waste of my time. Why not just bottle him up with the gourd or immaculate vase, however that might turn out?" On second thought, he realized, no good. As the idiom goes, the item obeys its master. If he doesn't answer when I call his name, wouldn't that ruin my plan? I will just throw the flashy golden rope on his head then. Splendid great sage. With one hand holding the rod to keep the sword at bay, his other hand tossed the rope which he lassoed on the monster's head. It turned out that the Monster King had both a tightening rope spell as well as a loosening rope spell. If he had a foe lassoed, he recited the tightening rope spell and no one could escape. If an ally was lassoed, he recited the loosening rope spell and no one would get hurt. He recognized that this was his own treasure, so he recited the loosening rope spell, which loosened the rope. Having got himself out, he then threw the rope back at Xingzhe. The great sage was quickly tied up, but just when he was about to use the trick of slimming down to escape, he was tightly bound by the monster, reciting the tightening rope spell. How was he able to escape? The rope slipped down to his neck and lassoed him in the form of a golden ring. The monster pulled on the rope and dragged Wukong's bald head down before hacking on it 7 or 8 times with his precious sword. But Xingzhe's scalp didn't even redden in the slightest. The monster exclaimed, "You monkey, you do indeed have a hard head. I won't hack you any more. I shall bring you back and then beat you. Return my 2 treasures now." Xingzhe asked, "What treasures have I taken from you that you are asking me for?" The Monster King then carefully searched his body and found the gold and immaculate vase. Pulling on the rope, he brought Xingzhe into the cave, saying, "Elder brother, I've got him here." The elder monster asked, "Who did you get?" The younger monster replied, "Sun Xingzhe. Look, come see for yourself." The elder monster saw and recognized Xingzhe. As the light rose on his face, he said, "It is him, it is him. I used the long rope to tie him to a pillar for our amusement." They indeed had Xingzhe tied up before the 2 monster kings headed to the back room for a drink. The great sage was crawling around the bottom of the pillar, which caught Zhu Bajie's attention. The fool was hung from a beam and started laughing out loud, saying, "Oh, big brother, no ear for you now." Xingzhe replied, "Fool, are you having a good time hanging up there? I am getting out now. I'll make sure to rescue you." Bajie said, No shame. You can't even get out yourself, and you are thinking about saving others. Never mind. Master and disciples might as well die together so we can ask for our way in the underworld." Xingzhe said, "Quit the nonsense. Watch me get out." Bajie said, "Let's just see how you can get out." The great sage was talking to Bajie with his mouth while he was eyeing the monsters. What he saw was them drinking inside, with several imps bringing plates and cups, as well as holding flagons to serve wine. They were constantly going in and out and let their guard down a little bit. Xingzhe saw that no one was in front of him, so he started with his tricks. Sliding out his rod, he blew divine breath onto it before saying, "Change!" And instantly it transformed into a file blade of pure steel. Gripping the ring on his neck, he gave it several cuts with the file blade before it fell into halves. Tearing open a gap, he got out. He then pulled a hair and said, "Change!" And the hair transformed into his fake self, still tied up there. His real form, on the other hand, shook and turned into an imp standing on the side. Bajie began yelling from the beam again. Terrible, the one tied up is a fraud. Only the one hung here is the real one." The elder monster put down his cup to ask, "What is that Zhu Bajie yelling about?" Xingzhe had already turned into an imp, so he went up to explain. Zhu Bajie was urging Sun Xingzhe to escape through transformation, but Sun Xingzhe wouldn't do it. That's why he was yelling. The younger monster said, "They say Zhu Bajie is an honest one, but he's actually quite dishonest. We should give him 20 slaps on the mouth with a stick." Xingzhe then went to look for a stick for the beating. Bajie said, "Go easy on me. If you hit too heavily, I will yell again. I recognize you." Xingzhe said, "Elder Sun is transforming precisely to save you. Why are you letting the truth out instead? None of the monsters in this cave can recognize me. How can you, of all people, tell?" Bajie explained, "You may have changed your head and face, but not your bottom. Aren't those your 2 red arse cheeks? That's how I can tell it is you." Xingzhe then moved to the back and entered the kitchen. By wiping soot from the bottom of cooking pots, he smeared his bottom black before returning to the front. Bajie saw that and laughed. "The monkey went messing around for a while and came back with a black arse." Xingzhe was still standing in front of the monsters, attempting to steal their treasures. How very wise he was. He went in the living room and tugged on the monster's leg to say, "Great King, look at Sun Xingzhe there tied to a pillar. He's still crawling left and right. The golden rope might be worn out from his movements. It would be better if we use a thicker, stronger rope to tie him up instead." The elder monster said, "That's a good point." He thereby took off his belt with a lion emblem and handed it to Xingzhe. Xingzhe took it and used it to tie up the fake Xingzhe, switching out the flashy golden rope in the process. He tucked the rope in his sleeves before pulling another hair and blowing divine breath onto it. It transformed into a fake flashy golden rope before Xingzhe presented it to the monsters with both hands. The monsters were too drunk to examine it carefully, so they simply took it. This was another case of the great sage swapping things around with his magic, as he exchanged the flashy golden rope with the hair. Once he took hold of the treasure, he hurriedly jumped out the gates and returned to his original body, shouting loudly, "Monsters!" The imps guarding the gate asked, "Who is this person yelling here?" Xingzhe replied, "Go quickly inside and report to those lousy monsters of yours that Zhe Xingsun has arrived." The imps reported as they were told. Shocked, the elder monster said, "We've caught a Sun Xingzhe. How come there is a Zhe Xingsun?" The younger monster said, "Big brother, what is there to fear? The treasures are in my hands. Let me take the gourd and bottle him inside." The elder monster said, "Be careful, brother." The younger monster then took the gourd and walked out the door. He saw that the person looked exactly like Sun Xingzhe, just slightly shorter. So he asked, "Where are you from?" Xingzhe answered, "I am Sun Xingzhe's brother. I heard that you captured my older brother, so I'm here to have it out with you." The younger monster replied, "It was I who captured him. He's now locked inside the cave. Now that you have come, you must be seeking a battle. I won't fight you just yet, but will instead call your name. Have you the courage to answer my call?" Xingzhe said, "I dare you call 1,000 times, and I will answer you 10 times as much." The monster then held the treasure and hopped into the air. With its bottom pointing at heaven and the opening pointing towards the earth, he yelled, "Zhe Xingsun!" Xingzhe dared not answer, secretly thinking to himself, "If I answered, I'll be bottled inside." The monster asked, "Why won't you answer my call?" Xingzhe replied, "I'm a bit deaf. I couldn't hear you. Call louder." The monster then called again, "Zhe Xingsun!" Pinching his fingers in secret for divination, Xingzhe thought to himself, "My real name is Sun Xingzhe. I made up a fake name, Zhe Xingsun. The real name can get me bottled up inside, but the fake name probably won't." He couldn't help himself and answered the call. With a whoosh, he was sucked into the gourd before the monster put a seal on it. As it turned out, the treasure did not care if the name was real. As soon as you make a sound that answers the call, you will be bottled inside. The great sage entered the gourd and found its inside pitch black. He gave a headbutt upward, but how was he able to move it at all? Moreover, it was tightly sealed. Growing anxious inside, he said, "When I was in the mountain and came across the 2 imps, they told me that whether it was the gourd or immaculate vase, once you are inside, it takes less than 2 shichen before you turn into pus. Could it melt even me?" Thinking things over, he realized, "It's fine, it can't melt me. When Elder Sun created the havoc in heaven 500 years ago, the Supreme and Venerable Elder threw me in the furnace of 8 trigrams and burnt me for 49 days. The forging gave me a golden heart and liver, silver lungs and bowels, a copper head and iron back, fire eyes and golden pupils. How could they possibly melt me within 2 shichen? Let's just get inside and see how it goes." The younger monster took the gourd inside and said, "Big brother, I've got him here." The elder monster asked, "Who did you get?" The younger monster answered, "Zhe Xingsun. I trapped him in the gourd." The elder monster said with delight, "Please take a seat, my wise younger brother. Don't move it. Only unseal when it makes a sound when we shake it." Xingzhe heard that and said, "With a body like mine, how could it possibly make a sound when shaken? I would have to melt into liquid before it can make a sound. Let me just pee in it. Once they hear a sound when shaking it, they will certainly unseal and unplug the gourd, and I will take the opportunity to get the hell out of here." On second thought, he said, "Bad idea, bad idea. The piss might be able to make a sound, but it will soil my tunic. When they shake the gourd, I will just gather some saliva in my mouth and make a drippy mess. Once they are fooled into opening it up, Elder Sun will make my escape." The great sage prepared himself for it, but the monsters were both too drunk to shake it. He instead tried a magic trick just to get them to shake the gourd. Suddenly he shouted, "Oh heavens, my ankles have melted!" The monsters would still not shake it. The great sage shouted again, "Oh mother, even my waist is melting." The elder monster said, "Once it gets to the waist, he's almost completely melted. Unseal and have a look." The great sage heard that and pulled a hair before saying, "Change." It turned into half of his body stuck at the bottom of the gourd. His real form, on the other hand, turned into a tiny bug that was perched next to the opening. When the younger monster unsealed the gourd to have a look, the great sage already made it out flying. With a roll, he again transformed into Yi Hailong, the imp who was originally sent to invite Granny. After he transformed, he just stood next to them. The elder monster gripped on the opening of the gourd and peeked inside to find half a body moving. He couldn't tell whether it was real or not, so he called in haste, "Brother, cover it up, cover it up. He's not completely melted yet." The younger monster then sealed it as before. The great sage was secretly laughing by their side, thinking, "You have no idea Elder Sun is already here." The elder monster held a flagon and filled a cup with wine. With both hands, he handed it to the younger monster and said, "My wise younger brother, here's my toast to you." The younger monster said, "Elder brother, we've been drinking for quite a while now. What are you toasting me for?" The elder monster replied, "You've caught the tongue monk, Ba Jie, and Sha monk, and as if that wasn't enough, you also lassoed Sun Xingzhe and bottled up Zhe Xingsun. With feats like yours, you really deserve many more toasts." The younger monster saw his old brother honoring him and would not turn him down. But with one hand holding the gourd, he dare not receive the toast with the other hand alone. So he handed the gourd to Yi Hailong, leaving both hands empty to receive the cup, completely unaware that Yi Hailong was a transformation of Sun Xingzhe. And look at him holding the gourd and diligently serving them. The younger monster drank his toast and had to return the honor. The elder monster said, "No need to toast back. I shall drink one cup with you." The two of them just kept on with their humbleness. Xingzhe held the gourd with his eyes fixed on the pair. As the two of them toasted each other back and forth without a care for their surroundings, Xingzhe tucked the gourd into his sleeve. He then pulled out another hair and transformed it into a fake gourd that looked exactly the same as before and held it in his hands. The monsters toasted for a while and, without checking if it was even real, took the treasure back. They each took their seat and sat down comfortably before resuming their conversation over wine. Great Sage Sun, on the other hand, slipped by them with the treasure in his possession. He thought to himself in delight, "I can forgive the monsters for knowing a few tricks, for the gourd still belongs to Sun. We do not know how he will make use of it to save his master and destroy the monsters. Please wait until the next chapter."